Bonjour, hello, and welcome to MaxMountainWorld. Beautiful warm day today, just sitting at a tourist spot at the side of the lake. I came down from up the mountain there. It's still quite high up. It's about 800 meters, 2,700 feet of altitude or something. And yeah, still a good spot. A quick contact on the radio into England, just using the mag mount antenna. So I'm not too sure I'm going to find anywhere. It's very busy. There's a lot of car parks full up and all the rest of it. So today is 1 year exactly since I bought this car, the Jaguar X-Type. And I'm not going to do a review on it. I'm just going to do a little bit of chat and banter and the things I like about it, the things I don't like about it, and how I've been getting on with it this last year. Did it live up to my expectations? Here we go. In my driving career, I've driven almost every Jag that's going, sort of up to recent times, obviously not the new ones. The only one I hadn't driven was one of these, an X-Type. And it occurred to me about 5 minutes before I collected it. But not disappointed, that's the general theme. Here's why. I spent 3 years looking for this specific car. Specific model, specific year, and specific details, one that hasn't been to the moon and back and stuff like that. So eventually I found it. I found this one, obviously, because I've got it. Now, bit of a space in here. It's got the power to just get into a space fast, and then it's back to wafting mode. To me, perfect. Quick view check before I continue. Some lovely wispy cloudy skies. Beautiful hot day today. 36 degrees here at 800 meters altitude. And the sun is beating down. The sun, of course, twice as strong here because it's got less atmosphere to go. But anyway, today the Jaguar 2007 Jaguar X-Type 2.5 V6 Estate. After 1 year. And I'll start off with under the bonnet. So it took me a wee while before I could actually find the bonnet release catch first time. It's on proper mounts, so no messing about with sticks. And yeah, the Jaguar V6 engine, which a lot of people have said to me, it's a Ford Mondeo V6. No, it's closer related to half of an Aston Martin V12. So when you look into what's inside this, it's a very, very free-spinning engine. One of the most free-spinning engines I've ever driven. For a 2.5 litre, it just whizzes up to its red line at 680, no problem. 6,800 res is the bloodline. When I first picked this car up, yeah, it's not in perfect conditions, but it's not far short of that. The odd fly that seems to have had a steel head on it or whatever, last thing that went through its mind was its arse. And up the top here, one of the things that was not a default, but it had been affected, I can't really see on this reflection, by a hailstorm at some point. But as you can see, I've got antennas all over the place. I'm not bothered a toot about the roof at all. So the main factor here was to have this as a car, a weekend car, that I could use for my radio stuff. So I've got a 10-foot high mast and a very powerful antenna here that all goes up in the space of about 10 minutes tops. And of course the sun umbrella, the parasol. So it all tucks away quite nicely into the boot. It's out of sight, out of mind, and really suits my needs absolutely perfectly as such. I do endeavour to keep this thing in as good a nick as it was when I got it. and it is more or less, I've not done any damage to it as such, and inside is more or less the same, just needs cleaning now and again. And you find that the leather, one disappointment is the leather needs a lot of cleaning. I got this car a year ago today on about 107,000 kilometers, and now exactly 1 year later, about 119. So I've done just over 12,000 kilometers, which is about my normal average, about 1,000 a month. Oh, the aircon just came on. That's lovely. And a good thing too, when you look under the bridge here, it's colder, 35 degrees outside. So yeah, I didn't really want to do a review as such because it's so complicated, all the stuff. And even now I'm finding things like when you switch on the aircon, you get a much better effect by using the recirculating. Now you can press that button once and as signalled, it gives you 10 minutes of that and then switches off automatically. Alternatively, you can just hold it and keep it pressed and it will remain on ad infinitum. The infotainment system, yeah, it's 2007, but it's still pretty good, and touchscreen as well. So I can go into things like climate. I can hit, one of the things I don't like about it is you hit the auto and it just goes absolutely berserk. Whoa, hurricane time. And it, I don't know, you've got to mess around with the thing and put it all back to your original settings and stuff like that. It's not, they could have made that a lot simpler. But yeah, it's only an old CD player in it, but I've burnt off a few CDs to listen to and stuff. Bought a couple recently, and all the controls fantastic. It works absolutely brilliant. As a machine to drive, the wheel unbelievably comfortable to use and very useful. The cruise control works fantastic as well. All of these things, it all works great. You just got to get used to it. It's kind of like my little radio here, my little big radio, where it does a load of stuff, but you've got to get used to it. You've got to get to know it to get the best out of it. And the car itself, fine, all the stuff and jazzed up stuff and whatever, it's in pretty good condition. Well, I'll call it very, very, very good condition all round, and very handy for me keeping all my gear, my camera gear, radio gear, notes. I've got the tripod set up, that was the previous scenes, and yeah, it just works for me. It's fine, it's not been disappointed. Although I've got the seat belt here to keep my bag in place during to emergency brake, it seems to think I've got a baby chair in place. I'll quickly run through. I've got the engine ticking over, as I say, just to keep the aircon running. It really is seriously hot. And I'll just quickly run through all the stuff. With the right hand side here, I've got the cruise control stuff. Volume control, I can mute things here as well. That's the volume control, mute things there. I can change the source, radio, CD, whatever, and change tracks, forwards, back, whatever. It's all handy to have it just exactly where your thumbs would end up anyway when you're driving. Over on the right, the wipers and everything all work great. It's even got an auto setting, so it comes on and it works remarkably well when you've just got little drops of rain starting, whatever, automatically. The lights have an automatic setting as well, and all the setting for upski, downski, and the display lighting as well. You can dim that right down. All the stuff for the information, which is controlled by the left hand stalk, and just a little button on the end here. And you can see, if I zoom in on that a little bit better, we can get some of the stuff, range in kilometers. Oh yeah, if I hit that onto metric, onto imperial, it's not doing too badly at that. That's my general fuel consumption, my average overall fuel consumption. It does have a setting B, but I use that for sort of short-term stuff to see what I do in certain trips and stuff. All the rest of it, average speed, yeah, mountains, you don't go fast in the mountains, the time, and of course the overall kilometerage. With the trip gauge, which you can see I haven't set for a long time, that's why I'm using that. and then back to the range, which is where I kind of keep it. It's kind of handy to have that coordinated with the fuel gauge. When you drive it like spiritedly, you could say, like I did coming out of that junction, yeah, it'll really drink a lot of fuel. But just cruising about, wafting around or cruising in the motorways, she's not too bad for a car of this size with an engine of that size. 5-speed auto box with override for 4, 3 and 2, and the sport button. The sport button, from what I gather, doesn't do anything absolutely noticeable. You hit it, it doesn't change much, but what it does do is it changes the gear shift up in the revs a bit, so it'll change gear at slightly higher revs. Particularly handy for going up mountain roads. Coming down mountain roads, yeah, you override it. It skips around the radio, you override it, you can manually control it for engine braking and stuff like that. Storage, we have a sort of double storage thing here. Yes, there's still a couple of masks in case I need them, although we're almost beyond that situation, hopefully. And below, some of my CDs, the rest are in the glove compartment, partially blocked by the tripod just now. All the usual door controls and a block for the back door windows and stuff, and also the mirror controls, and when you park it up, a little button there, and we can park up the mirrors as well. It'd be nice if that happened when you got out and put the locks on, but 2007 car, it's a 15-year-old car, it's not got the latest technology. My car does hook up to this, phone connected, so the hands-free thing with the phone, whether it's in my pocket, whether it's sitting on the seat gear keeping cool out of the sun, whether I've got it on the mount, I get calls, I make calls, do it through the car hands-free, but it doesn't have any kind of Android CarPlay or anything like that. It would be nice to be able to have the music running through the Bluetooth as well on it, but I dare say this was back in the early days of Bluetooth. So it all works grand. Climate controls, as I said before, audio stuff, it's going to start playing something, a bit of right, that's all I can do without getting a copyright hit. So I'm just sitting under this bridge just now, and a few other people taking advantage of the same. This woman's gone even more advanced and decided to chill out in the water, but very dusty times. It's not rained in a long time, so you see the dust that gets left behind. Not so much there, but guys come flying round this corner. It's only supposed to be a 30 km/h limit, and they come hurtling round here, see me and swerve and all that. That's not my problem. One of the things I do like, the leather steering wheel, leather, wood, two-tone, and the mirror is self-dimming at night. You get a car with 2 bright lights in the back, it dims itself. The controls up here, the stuff for the alarm, stuff for the phone connection, all the light stuff, which is, it feels nice. Everything has a feel of quality. The Alcantara on the ceiling, on the roof, these grab handles as well, they don't just bang shut, they have a nice action to them. Everything is a nice feel, a nice action. The door handles in metal and stuff, it just is a fantastically nice place to be. The seats are so comfortable, and in the back too, as I'm told. I've never actually sat in them when the car's been going, but it just works. It just is a nice car. People call it the poor man's Rolls Royce. I'm pretty happy with that. I think that fella in the pickup just now just had a brown trouser moment when he came hurtling round there and saw me sitting here with the camera pointing out the front. One thing I love is just the view out the front. You've got the extra lights there with this little binnacle thing that grows out of the bonnet. It's a sense of occasion every time I drive this car. You can just see that and no more. It's just beautiful. And finally, back to the gearbox as well. The sport mode can be a bit complicated. When you activate it, little red light comes on, and what it does is it actually starts remembering what you're doing. So if you hit the sport mode and you boot it up, it'll remember that that's how you're driving, and it'll do the gear changes and stuff as per. It'll also, you can do that and then just waft about, and it'll do the same afterwards. It'll waft about. It's more or less not a sport mode, it's more or less a learning mode. It doesn't change too much more. I don't think it changes anything to do with suspension or steering or anything like that, but it certainly makes mountain life and mountain driving a lot more efficient, easier, faster if need be. Other downsides is the catch for this back window actually opens separately, but the catch is goosed on it. I'm not bothered, I don't want to be using that anyway. So the only other thing that went wrong is the back door catch on the inside here. The mechanism inside here went. I had to replace that. I wasn't going to get the garage to do it, even though I did find a Jaguar garage in my local city, Gap, about an hour's drive away. But the price of the actual thing itself, 325 euros for that. I wasn't paying 150 euros an hour to get it replaced. I did it with a broken finger as well, which I think I did a video on it and I had to stop halfway through, but the video still went up. Nothing else went wrong with it at all in this past 12 months. Touch wood, of which there is plenty. Ting ting. And yeah, it's just been great. It did go into limp mode once when I went up the mountains with it. I was being a little bit pushy as regards its limits. As regards its limits, on snow and ice, four-wheel drive, it's a dream, it's a rocket ship. Although you have to remember that it is a big vehicle, or a big-ish vehicle, heavy-ish vehicle. So, you know, there's only so much that the tyres can do. But it's on the optional wider, larger wheeled, wider tired wheels, the optional 17-inch ones. Makes a huge difference, not only in the way a car looks, but it makes a huge difference in the traction and stuff. On snow and ice, it's incredibly fun. And again, the sport mode, it'll learn what you're doing. It'll let you drift it a little bit, but not too much. You can obviously overdo it if you want to, but it's just nice to have that level of control. So yeah, as I say, it's just too complicated for me to go in, and I'm still learning some stuff on to do with the controls, the buttons, the switches, the infotainment, all that stuff. Electric seats and everything, electric adjusted seats, heated seats as well, which is fantastic, because when I've been out with the radio stuff and it's been cold, hitting on the heated seat, oh, it makes a huge difference. And on the other side of the fence, when it's too hot, like a day like today, the aircon, fantastic. So anyway, that's just a little review around the car, as it were. After 1 year of ownership, it has well surpassed what I expected. As I say, I turned up for it, and a couple of minutes before it occurred to me, wait a minute, I've never even driven one of these things. What am I doing? I've just done an 8-hour journey to go and collect it. Not disappointed in any way, shape or form. Absolutely fantastic. Kept in touch with the previous owners. I think they were happy to part with it in the direction of someone who had a bit of a passion. This was my 60th birthday present to myself. My 60th birthday, I was actually in confinement, so couldn't do anything, but I was still looking for this car, or for a car like this. There's supposedly only 3, possibly 4 in France, and they're very, very rare here. They didn't make them left-hand drive, so I have to contend with the right-hand drive, but that's how I passed my test. I'm not bothered anyway. Right, so I'm going to go now. That's it. The Jaguar X-Type 2.5 V6 Estate, and that's it. Absolutely great car for me. I'm so happy with it. Okay, so I bought it after my birthday. It wasn't really a birthday present, but I was still 60-year-old when I bought it. Quite happy with that. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Keep subscribing, keep sharing, keep helping me advance this channel along. There's a lot more videos coming. So until the next one, ciao. People do look at me all the time. I wonder if they're looking at the Jaguar, the antennas, or just the fact that it's right-hand drive. I don't know. Anyway. Just the looks and stuff. noise. Yeah, it just gives it a sense of occasion every time I'm out driving this car. It's hard to drive the Saxo after driving this, but sometimes the Saxo is a totally different animal, much more flammable as such, and equally pleasurable to drive.